Hi, this is my presentation on comparing mollusks, the giant squid and the colossal squid by Kristen Bazzy. I apologize for the lighting in the background, that is my fish tank. So, I apologize for pronunciation as well, because when it comes to the Latin names and genus and things like that, I'm not the best at it, but the giant squid's Latin name is Architeuthis, the genus is Architeuthis, the species is Architeuthis dux, the phylum is Mollusca, and the family is Architeuthidae. So, when it comes to body characteristics, there has been speculation that it may have been a little over-exaggerated, but still, nonetheless, it is a very large squid. It's around 18 meters, which is 59 feet, and 200 kilograms, which is about 440 pounds. The largest mantle we have found is 2.25 meters, which is 7.4 feet. And it does have an eye that is second biggest to the colossal squid, which is really beneficial for them helping in searching for prey and knowing if predator is coming along, which is around a little over 10.5 inches, which is 27 centimeters in diameter. Its morphology is very similar to that of regular squids, with a head mantle with 2 large fins attached to it, as well as 8 arms and 2 tentacles to help capture prey. When it comes to habitat and range, they're usually seen all around the world excluding the tropics, and they tend to wash up in the shores of New Zealand and Pacific Islands, and they have made appearances on both the east and west of the Northern Atlantic, as well as the southern coast of Africa and the South Atlantic. They live in very deep waters, roughly 304.9 meters, which is 1,000 feet, to 609.6 meters, which is 2,000 feet. Most knowledge of their habitat is very little known due to the fact that they live at such deep water. We haven't really had the opportunity to go and explore that to the depths that we need to learn more about these squids, but they live in very deep waters, what we know. When it comes to reproduction, very little is known on their reproduction, but we do know that the females produce a very large quantity of eggs, and that the females reach sexual maturity around 3 years of age. They pretty much reproduce like every other squid, we're assuming, just from what we have seen, even though very little is known on their reproduction. And when it comes to feeding, they're obviously very quick, and their tentacles are what they use to capture prey. And once the prey is caught, they use their beak-like jaws to go and bite them and admit a poison into their prey. And we can assume that they feed on very large marine animals, but the specifics of their prey is a little less unknown. Now, even though they are a very large animal, they do have a few predators, including the sperm whale and the sleeper sharks, as adults, but when they are juveniles, they tend to get preyed on by deep-sea fish and sharks because of their smaller size as juveniles. So now we're on to the colossal squid. Its Latin name is Misoniteuthis hamiltoni. Its genus name is Mollusks. Its species is Mollusks hamiltoni. The phylum is Mollusca, and the family is Cranchidae. So its body characteristics is, it's roughly around 14 meters, which is 46 feet, and they can weigh up to 500 kilograms, which is 1,100 pounds. And they have these very cool, strong, hooks at the end of their tentacles, as well as suckers on them, which really gives them some individuality, because there's been no other squid found with these really cool rotating hooks on them. And they have typical morphology of other squids. They have mantle, gills, 8 arms, 2 tentacles, a head, and a fin. Now, their habitat is usually around the circumpolar current around Antarctica, and younger squids do tend to live closer to the shore than the adult squids, and they also live in very deep water, like the giant squid, which is up to 1,000 meters, which is 3,280.84 feet deep. Now, when it comes to reproduction and feeding, little is known on their reproduction, due to we've only ever found females, but we can assume that we are assuming that they reproduce the exact same way that typical squids do, or typical squids, but I mean smaller ones. So that's just kind of an assumption. And due to it never being seen before as well, we can assume that they feed on their prey in a similar fashion to other squids, with the involvement of them using their rotating hooks, obviously. Now, when it comes to predators, the colossal squid's biggest predator is the sperm whale, which it shares with the giant squid. There have been reports of sperm whales having these hook-like marks on them, obviously from trying to attack a colossal squid and them getting damaged a little bit from it. Now, as younger juveniles, they do have more predators, like the elephant seal, sleeper shark, and beaked whales. And due to their large size and powerful bodies, they are marked as a least concerned on the list for extinction because of the very few predators they have due to their large size and powerful bodies. Now, when it comes to similarities, there are some similarities between the colossal squid and the giant squid. Now, both of them live in very deep waters, and they both share a similar predator, which is the sperm whale. Both tend to have more predators as juveniles due to their smaller size at that time before they grow up to be very massive. And when it comes to size, they are relatively similar in length. Now, for differences, even though they have very similar lengths, they still differ a great amount in weight. The colossal squid weighs significantly more than the giant squid, and there has been less research on the colossal squid for reproduction due to us only finding females. Well, there is slight more on the giant squid, but there's still not as much as a typical squid. Now, the colossal squid does have these unique features of a rotating hook, while the giant squid does not, and it's one of the coolest things about the colossal squid, and it's just one of the biggest differences from how they survive in their habitat. And this is my presentation on comparing mollusks, the giant squid, and the colossal squid by Kristen Bazzy.